Hello students, welcome to this another discussion video on the topic loans receivable. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to measure loans receivable initially and subsequently and recognize impairment loss on loan receivable. So what is this loans receivable? So it is a financial asset arising from a loan granted by a bank or other financial institution to a borrower or a client. So, yun na nagpapautang, and the nature of the business of the entity is really lending money. So, itong loans receivable na to ay normal or the usual receivable or trade receivable of this particular entity, such as bank and other financial institutions. So, paano ba natin i-measure ang loans receivable? So, dalawa rin yan, no? Initial tsaka subsequent. So, initially, loans receivable shall be measured at fair value plus transaction cost. So, pag sinabi natin fair value, that is just equivalent to the transaction price, which is actually the amount of loan granted to borrowers. Whereas, pag sinabi natin transaction cost, ito yung mga costs or expenses incurred that are directly attributable to the granting of the loan. So, ang tawag natin dyan ay mga direct origination cost. So, take note that if this particular transaction cost is directly attributable to a certain loan, then it must be included in the initial measurement. So, in short, idadagdag natin itong direct origination cost sa initial measurement ng ating loans receivable. Now, pag meron namang indirect origination cost, so hindi mo siya trace directly, no, sa isang loan, to a particular loan, then such indirect origination cost will be expensed outright. So, hindi na siya kasama doon sa initial measurement ng loans receivable kasi nga indirect na siya. No? So, you cannot directly attribute it to a certain loan. Subsequent measurement naman is amortized cost using effective interest method. So, this is just the same with your notes receivable. Now, we're in amortized cost is just equivalent to the initial measurement minus your principal repayment plus or minus the cumulative amortization of any differences between the initial carrying amount and the principal maturity amount and minus the impairment or uncollectibility of accounts. Yung mga accounts na doubtful of collection na or possible na hindi mo siya ma-kolekta. Next, we have this origination fees. So, ano ba itong origination fees? So, these are fees charged by the bank against the borrower for the creation of loans that include the compensation for the following activities. So, first, evaluating the borrower's financial condition. Second, evaluating guarantees, collateral, and other security. C, negotiating the terms of the loan. D, preparing and processing the documents related to the loan. And E, closing and approving the loan transaction. So, in short, kung familiar kayo kapag nag-avail tayo ng loan, no, to a certain financial institution, meron silang i-charge sa atin, no, yung service fee. So, yung service fee na yon na i-deduct ng financial institutions from the proceeds of our loan, ang tawag natin dyan ay mga origination fees. So, it's the fees collected, no, by the bank or the financial institution from the borrower. Parang compensation of those costs incurred by the bank or the financial institution in processing the loan of the borrower. So, how do we account for origination fees? So, yung mga service charges, no, or tawag natin dito origination fees, received by the bank or the financial institution from the borrower, they are considered as unearned interest income. So, when you receive service fees, no, ang tawag natin again ay origination fees, then they shall be recognized as unearned interest income. And such unearned interest income will be amortized over the term of the loan. So, in short, pag meron service charge, no, na dineduct yung financial institution or bank from the proceeds of the loan of the borrower, so in effect, para siyang nagkaroon ng dagdag na income. No? So, that's why we consider it muna as unearned interest income, and then later, we will amortize it over the term of the loan and recognize it as an additional interest income. Now, if not chargeable against the borrower, so if yung mga costs or mga fees which are not charged to the borrower, ang tawag natin dyan ay mga direct origination cost. So, yung mga directly attributable cost na na-incur natin in relation to that loan, pero hindi natin na-charge sa borrower. So, ang tawag natin doon ay mga direct origination cost. So, this direct origination cost will also be deferred and it will be amortized over the term of the loan. So, pareho sila doon or pareho sila ng origination fees, no, na i-amortize mo during the term of the loan. Pero magkaiba ang kanilang effect. No? Kasi yung effect ng origination fees ay parang merong dagdag na income, no, on the part of the bank or the financial institution. Pero yung direct origination cost, actually that is expense, no, or a reduction to the interest income of the financial institution or the bank. Kasi yung direct origination cost class ay gastos, no? Whereas yung origination fees, na-collecta natin galing sa customers or borrower. Accounting again for origination fees. So, preferably, the direct origination costs are offset against unearned origination fees received na from borrower or clients. Now, when the origination fees is greater than the direct origination cost, then the difference is charged to unearned interest income. And that unearned interest income will be amortized. So, as mentioned kanina, ang effect nitong unearned interest income na to, when they are amortized, is that mag-i-increase ang ating interest income. So, kasi nga, di ba, ang origination fees ay parang service charges natin or service charge natin for processing the loan na to the borrower. So, we charge them to the borrower or to the clients availing the loan. So, parang nag-advance or parang nag-charge tayo ng additional fees sa kanila. And in our end, that's actually income, no, which can increase the interest that we can get from the clients or the borrower. Tapos, kung baliktad naman, no, if the origination fees is less than the direct origination cost or the direct, origination cost, then the difference is charged sa direct origination cost. So, ito mas malaki yung parang expense natin kumpara sa nakolekta natin galing sa client. So, itong direct origination cost na to, again, that's a deferred amount. And it will decrease the interest income when they are amortized. Kasi 'di ba, yung direct origination cost natin ay atin ding i-amortized over the term of the loan. So since parang ang nangyari ay mas malaki yung nagastos natin kumpara sa nakolekta natin from the client or from the borrower, so in effect, parang nabawasan yung interest income natin. So every time you amortize the direct origination cost, then it has the effect of decreasing your interest income. So to illustrate the concepts na discuss, so let us have this problem. So we have Winter Bank granted a loan to a borrower on January 1, 2020. So the interest on the loan is 12% payable annually starting December 31, 2020. So the loan matures in 3 years on December 31, 2022. So these are the information. So you have your principal of 5 million, your origination fees received from borrower, that's 331,800. Your direct origination cost incurred, so yung mga nagastos natin, so you have 100,000. So to solve this problem, what you have to do is compute first the initial measurement or the initial carrying amount of your loan. So, paano ba natin i-compute yun? So, of course, start tayo with the principal amount which is 5 million. So, take note that origination fees or collection natin from the borrower. So, therefore, i-deduct natin siya sa ating principal amount. Kasi nga, 'di ba, yung principal amount, yun yung grinant mo sa client mo or sa borrower mo. So, pag meron ka na collecta from them, of which itong origination fees or collection coming from the borrower, then we have to deduct it from our principal amount. Whereas, direct origination costs are added to our initial measurement or to our principal, kasi nga, ito gastos din natin or gastos ng company. So, in short, 5 million here is a cash out from the bank or the financial institution as well as direct origination cost. So, yun mga cash out yan, nagpalabas tayo ng pera. 5 million tsaka 100,000 for the direct origination cost or transaction cost. Whereas, itong 331,800, collection natin yan or meron tayong natanggap na pera galing sa borrower. So, therefore, we have to deduct that amount, 331,800. So, the initial carry amount of your loan is 4,768,200. So, that is your initial measurement. So, to record the transaction, so we have here, first is the release of the 5 million amount. So, you have a debit to loan receivable, 5 million, credit to cash for 5 million. So, that's for the principal. Another is to record the collection or the receipt of the origination fees from the client or the borrower. So, we debit cash at 331,800 and then we credit unearned interest income at 331,800. Another entry is for the direct origination cost. So, since we already seen that or we have already seen that the origination fees is greater than the direct origination cost, and therefore we have to recognize unearned interest income. And that is why when we record our direct origination cost, we did not anymore debit direct origination cost account. Instead, we debited it already to your unearned interest income. That is to offset your direct origination cost no, from your origination fees. So here you'll have a debit to unearned interest income of 100,000 and a credit to cash of 100,000. So kung titingnan natin, yung net amount ng unearned interest income ay 331,800 minus 100,000. So you have a total of 231,800 unearned interest income. So say for example, you'll be asked, magkano ang initial carrying amount or initial measurement of this loan? So for presentation wise, no, so you'll have your principal amounting to 5 million. And then we also have our unearned interest income. So we simply deduct unearned interest income. So which is, as we have computed, that is 331,800 minus your 100,000. So that's 231,800. So if you're going to deduct that amount from 5 million, so you will have, this is your carrying amount as of January 1, 2020. So that's the same amount at dito sa taas. Ayan, 4,768,200. So that's the other way of presenting it. Na yung principal mo or yung face amount mo, deduct it, no, with your unearned interest income. So that was the initial measurement, no, which is 4,768,200. So let's proceed to subsequent measurement. Now, pagdating ng December 31, 2020, magkano na ang ating i-present, no, or how much value should we assign to our loans receivable? So sabi doon, gamitan natin ng amortized cost or i-measure natin at amortized cost using effective interest method. So we have here an amortization table using effective interest method. So you have, first you have your carrying amount of 4,768,200. Then we just plot here all the interest that we received. So take note that interest received here is based on the nominal interest rate. So based on the problem, the nominal interest rate is 12%. Kasi yung nominal interest rate, yun yung interest na naka-mention or na-mention dito sa agreement ng bank or financial institution and the client or the borrower. So this column here is computed as your principal times your nominal rate. So that is 5 million times your 12% nominal interest rate. So that's why it will give us 600,000. Now, in this column, interest income naman, this is computed as your initial carrying amount times your effective interest rate. So, paano ba natin i-compute yung effective interest rate? Basically, class, no, because the initial measurement is not equal to the principal maturity amount. No, diba? Yung principal amount natin ay 5 million. Pero yung initial carrying amount natin ay 4,768,200. So, hindi sila equal. So, pag hindi sila equal, ibig sabihin nun, hindi rin equal ang nominal interest rate sa effective interest rate. Yung minention na 12% interest rate, that is just a nominal interest rate and that is not the true interest rate na applicable for this loan because of the difference between the principal amount and the initial measurement. So therefore, dito, dapat mag-compute tayo ng effective interest rate. So pag sinabi natin effective interest rate, yun yung true, no? Yun yung totoong effective interest or yun yung totoong interest na ma-earn ng financial institution with this particular loan. So, how do we compute effective interest rate? So, in this problem, actually, binigay na siya. No? Sabi niya, the effective interest rate is 14%. But, you can actually compute for that, no? For that effective interest rate. Say, ang gagawin mo lang ay hanapin mo or you'll find a rate na kapag diniscount mo yung cash flows related to this loan, ang makukuha mong amount ay ito, no, equal or most likely malapit sa ganitong amount, 4,768,200. Say for example, kasi binigay na niya, no, yung effective interest rate daw ay 14%. Although that is just an estimate. Pero paano ba yan kinompute na? So, ang ginawa, meron tayong tinatawag na interpolation method. So, we have to account for those cash na ine-expect nating makuha, no, galing sa loans na to. Say, ano bang mga expected cash flows natin from this particular loans? Of course, we would expect interest. So, yung interest natin, sabi nga, di ba, every year makakatanggap siya ng 12% interest. So, that is equivalent to 600,000. So, yung 600,000 mo, that is to be received on an annual basis. So, every year, makaka-receive siya ng 600,000. Another is yung principal, which will be received lump sum, no? So, after 3 years na. So, what we're going to do here is you simply compute for the present value of this two cash flows here using a certain rate. So, ano kaya yung interest rate na yon? So, looking at the figure here, so that interest rate most probably must be greater than 12%. Kasi, kung titingnan natin, ang marireceive ni bank or the financial institution at the end of the term of this loan is 5 million. Yet, ang na-cash out niya lang ay 4,768,200. So, parang in a way, meron siyang additional interest income, no, as compared to mentioned na 600,000 lang. So, ibig sabihin, since yung origination fees natin ay mas malaki compared sa direct origination cost, ibig sabihin nun, meron pa tayong dagdag na interest income na aside from the nominal rate mentioned, which is 12%. If that's the case, then ibig sabihin, we must find a rate which is greater than 12%. So, trinay niya ang 14%. So, compute tayo ng factor. No? Pag ito, installment pa nito, so the factor will be 1 minus 1 plus I raised to the power of negative n divided by I. So, kung compute natin yung factor na yan, so, this is the factor for present value of ordinary annuity of 1. So, multiply lang natin yung 600,000 by the factor. So, yun yung amount. And then, for the principal, which will be collected 3 years after, so the applicable present value factor will be present value of 1. So, you'll have 1 plus I raised to the power of negative n. In this case, that's 3. So, multiply lang natin yung 5 million by the factor. So, kung i-add natin itong dalawa, hindi talaga siya exacto, no? Because of the rounding of the factors. there is a difference na slight difference of that much, 363.20. Pero ideally, dapat ang ma-derive mo dito na present value of the cash flows ng loan must be equal to the initial carrying amount. Para masabi natin ay yung ginamit mo na interest dito, which is 14%, yan talaga yung effective or yung totoong interest rate applicable for this loan. Now, ano bang significance nung effective interest na yan, no? So, that effective interest class, yan yung gagamitin natin pag-compute ng ating interest income. Say, for example, here, so since you have computed that it was 14%, no? The effective interest rate is 14%. So, what we're going to do is that etong 14% na yan, i-multiply mo sa carrying amount. So, that will be carrying amount sa previous na year, multiply natin by the effective interest rate. So, etong 667,548 na to, this is actually computed as 4 million, ito, 4,768,200. Multiply that by 14%. So, you'll have that much. 667,548. So, after that, you just get the difference, no, nitong dalawa. This is your effective interest or is your interest income, and this is your interest received, so which is equivalent to your nominal interest. So, kung i-deduct mo to or kunin mo yung difference ng dalawang to, you have 67,548. So, that 67,548 is considered as your amortization. So, that amount, that amortized or that amortization, you're going to add it to the carrying amount of your loan. Why add? Because gusto natin that after 3 years, yung balance ng amount ng loans receivable ay mag-equal na siya doon sa face value. So, dito, this should have been that much plus this much. So, you'll have 5 million. Okay? So, again, balikan lang natin paano ba kinompute itong amortization table na to. So, we'll start with your carrying amount noong January 1, 2020. So, this amount is multiplied by the effective interest rate. As mentioned, it was 14%. So, naka-arrive siya ng ganitong amount, 667,548. So, this amount here, dineduct lang natin from the interest that you receive. So, ito yung amortization. So, amortization, i-add natin doon sa carrying amount. Na? So that, for the next year, ito yung base amount, no? 4,835,748. So, that 4,835,748, i-multiply ulit natin by the effective interest rate, which is 14%. So, nakuha natin, that is 677,005. No? So, again, that is 4,835,748 times 4%. So, you will get that much. 677,005. Ni-round off na lang to the nearest peso. So, ganun din, itong amount na to, i-deduct lang natin from the 600,000. So, you'll have your amortization of 77,005. So, that 77,005, i-add natin dito para makuha natin yung 4,912,753. So, for the last year, kasi yung objective mo naman sa pag-amortize ay dapat mag-equal yung carrying amount natin sa principal maturity. So that, for the last year, wag mo na lang i-multiply ito ng 14%. So instead, you just get a difference of this two. So the difference of that two is, yan, 87,247. So, 87,247, yun yung amortization. So, i-work back na lang natin. So, para makuha natin yung interest income, so you add amortization plus your interest received of 600,000. So, you have a total of 687,247. So, for example, class, tatanungin kayo, magkano ang carrying amount ng loans natin as of December 31, 2020. So, your answer is 4,835,748. So, what if tinanong kayo, how much is the interest income noong December 31, 2020? So, your answer would be 667,548. So, yung total natin na effective interest. So, ano yung components niyan? Una yung nominal interest sa 600,000 plus your amortization of 67,548. Okay? So, let's proceed to the entries. So, for our entries at the end of 2020, so that's December 31, 2020, this is our entry. So, to record the interest collected, so this is based on the nominal interest rate of 12%. So, you'll have 600,000. And then, this one is to record the amortization of the discount. So, you just debit and earned interest income, 67,548, and then credit interest income. So, again, if you're going to look at the amortization table, again, so you can just refer in the amortization table for your entries. For 2021, ganun din. Una, meron siyang cash na natanggap para sa interest. So, nag-debit siya ng cash, nag-credit siya ng interest income. Another entry for the amortization of the unearned interest income. So, based on the amortization schedule, so yan, 77,005. And then, pagka last year, yung 2022, so still collection, and then amortization. So, based on doon sa table. Tapos, last, yung collection ng principal amount. So, that's a debit to cash and credit to loans receivable. So, presentation-wise, how do we present your loans receivable? So, for example, if that's December 31, 2020, so, your loans receivable, of course, is 5 million. Deduct lang natin yung ating unearned interest income, which is 231,800 minus the amortization of 67,548. So, that's 164,252. So, if you're going to deduct that to your 5 million, so your carrying amount is 4,835,748. Okay? So, that's the same amount that we have in our amortization table. To summarize the concepts pertaining to loans receivable, remember this, this will be our summary. So, first, at initial recognition, when the principal amount is greater than the initial measurement, then we have what we call discount. So, here, the transaction cost, your origination fees is greater than your direct origination cost. So, if mas malaki yung origination fees compared to the direct origination cost, the difference of those amount is considered unearned interest income. So, if this is the case, if the origination fees is greater than the direct origination cost, then the effective interest rate is greater than the nominal rate. So, pag mas malaki ang effective rate kaysa sa nominal rate, ibig sabihin, malaki ang interest income na i-report mo as compared sa interest na na-receive mo. So, yung treatment ng amortization to the carrying amount. So, every time you amortized, you have to add it because our objective is to bring the balance of your carrying amount equal to the principal amount at the end of the term of the loan. If there is a premium, so this is when the principal amount is less than your initial measurement or present value. So this happens if the origination fees is less than the direct origination cost. So mas marami yung gastos compared sa nakolekta from the borrower na service charges. So kung ganito yung setup, so what you have to recognize is a direct origination cost. So pag meron tayong direct origination cost, take note that the effective rate is less than the nominal rate. So kung mas maliit ang effective rate compared sa nominal rate, of course, yung interest income niya ay mas maliit compared to the interest received. And every time you amortize, since mas malaki yung amount ng initial measurement compared sa principal amount, so every time you amortize, you have to deduct it from the carrying amount. Para again, the objective is yung balance, yung carrying amount natin per record at the end of the maturity of the loan will tally to the principal maturity. So that's it for the measurement of your loans receivable. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next discussion video class. Bye!